There are several ad campaigns that have come out and we still remember it, even though they came out so many years ago. I'm going to be sharing with you three famous ad campaigns that I grew up seeing all the time and share a little of their backstory. We have all seen this slogan before. The first ad campaign I want to go over is Nike's Just Do It. Just Do It was dreamed up by Dan Whedon, the head of ad agency Whedon and Kennedy, who included it as the focal point of a TV commercial in 1988. Nike's first Just Do It ad showed 80-year-old jogger Walt Stack trudging across the Golden Gate Bridge during his daily 17-mile run. The message was simple beyond explanation. The slogan is now more than 30 years old, and to this day it convinces people that they too can be athletes if they choose to. All they need to do is pick up a pair of running shoes and just do it. A little known fact about the endlessly repeated tagline is that it was inspired by the final words on death row of a double murderer, Gary Gilmore, who killed two people in Utah in 1976. Gilmore robbed and killed a gas station attendant and then a motel worker, according to U.S. Supreme Court records. Gilmore was sentenced to death in October and sent to Utah State Prison the same year. When he reached the end of death row 3 months later, on January 17, 1977, he was asked if he had any last words. Facing down a 5-man firing squad, Gilmore said, "Let's do it." I like the "do it" part of it, Whedon told filmmaker Doug Prey in his 2009 documentary Art and Copy. In a separate interview with design website Dazine, Whedon said, "I was trying to write something that would tie it up, so it could speak to a woman who had just started walking to get in shape, to people who were world-class athletes, and it had the same kind of connection with them." The second ad campaign is one of the most memorable ads in recent history. The Got Milk campaign helped increase sales of cow milk in California by 7% in just 1 year and became culturally relevant throughout the nation. The first Got Milk advertisement was a commercial in 1993. It featured a historian receiving a call to answer a radio station's trivia question to win $10,000. However, when he tries to correctly answer the question, his mouth is filled with peanut butter after eating a sandwich, and since he has no milk, he cannot clear his mouth to answer the question correctly and win the $10,000. When the DJ hangs up on him, the ad's narrator asks, "Got milk?" The campaign moved into print advertisements alongside Celebrity, the Milk Mustache campaign, and has included superstars like Beyoncé, Britney Spears, Rihanna, and many others. Though the campaign was discontinued in 2014, the phrase lives on in countless social media parodies. These early brainstorming sessions planted the seeds of the Got Milk campaign's novel approach: deprivation marketing. Instead of selling the product to consumers, the team would sell the lack of a product. "Milk does a body good" had become the beverage's catchphrase during the 1980s, built on the idea that drinking milk promotes healthy bones and brawny muscles. Deprivation marketing was the opposite. It didn't matter whether it was good for you. What mattered was that all food paled in taste without it. This difference made the premise of pitching milk more enticing, because hardly anyone else at the agency was excited about pitching this ancient commodity. Why pitch milk when you could pitch something like Nintendo? The final one is Old Spice. If you spent any time online in the past few years, you were bound to come across these short, quirky videos, possibly not even realizing that what you were watching is advertising material. Old Spice took the absurdity and turned it into videos that don't make much sense on the surface, but are genuinely entertaining to watch and easy to remember. Old Spice had an image problem and was getting crushed by companies like Axe, which was seen as more hip. Old Spice was struggling to shift away from its perception as outdated. But in 2010, thanks to a bold advertising campaign, everything was about to change. The man your man could smell like. Procter & Gamble, P&G, understood that they had to think big to save the Old Spice brand. So they turned to marketing geniuses Whedon and Kennedy, who we already know as the brains behind the Just Do It campaign. With market research carried out by Whedon and Kennedy, unearthed an interesting insight that would prove key in the campaign's success. 60% of body wash purchases were made by women. Rather than go toe-to-toe with the competition, who were running very male-centric adverts, Whedon and Kennedy went the opposite way. They wanted to start a conversation between couples about body wash and convince women to stop buying their men lady-scented products. It resulted in the Man Your Man Could Smell Like campaign, which aired on February 8, 2010. When P&G brought Whedon and Kennedy on board, they were aiming for a 15% increase in sales, but by May 2010, sales had increased 60% from the previous year. By July 2010, that number was 125%, which was an all-time high for the brand. Shortly after the campaign, they became the top brand for men's body wash. P&G took a risk, and it paid off big time. It completely re-energized the brand and found a whole new target market in the process, one that it continues to advertise to directly. All of these companies have very different backstories, but the commonality is that they got inspiration from places that you would not think of at first. Think outside the box. I'm James Thomas. This has been my advertising presentation, and thank you for joining me. This is my ID.